Chapter 156, Main Clan Members. The Lin Clan. As he stared at that unique embroidered pattern, Lin Dong's eyes slightly narrowed. This was the first time he had truly seen someone from the Lin Clan. Until now, he had only heard of this colossus which possessed an outstanding reputation in the Great Yan Empire from Lin Zhentian, Lin Xiao and the rest. Yet, Lin Dong had never truly met them before. Why have these guys come to my Lin family? Could it be that they are aiming for the old tomb? Lin Dong's heart slightly stirred. Perhaps, this could be the only reason to explain why these main clan members who had always thought themselves a cut above the other branch families would have taken the initiative to come here. This is my Lin family's land, who allowed you to enter? While Lin Dong was caught up in his thoughts, one of the younger generation Lin family members had already angrily yelled the four, extremely discontented with their frivolous mannerism. Hee, the four of us will go wherever we please in the Lin family's territory. Not considering all of you kids, even if Lin Zhentian was here, he would not dare to speak to us in such a way. One of the four indifferently laughed as he said. Haha, normally, even if you invited us here, I'm afraid we would just ignore you. Another one also laughed as he said, no matter what, you people are also considered as a branch of my Lin clan. If you are really unable to afford a martial arts instructor, when I return this time, I will send someone over to properly teach you guys, so as to avoid shaming the Lin name in future. From their words, it was clear that the fact that Lin Dong would dare to act as a martial arts instructor at his age was extremely shameful and laughable to them. Their words undoubtedly infuriated the younger generation members of the Lin family. After experiencing all the events that had occurred in the past year, Lin Dong's place in their hearts had grown rather high. Thus, they were naturally unable to endure the mockery of these guys. No matter who you people are, since you've come to my Lin family, you should respect some rules. If you look down on cousin Lin Dong teaching martial arts, I, Lin Hong, will ask for some guidance today. Among the crowd, a person suddenly walked out as he coldly snorted. Oh, how courageous! Since we have nothing better to do, today, we will let all of you understand why there is a main clan and a branch clan. The one clothed in blue at the center of the group mockingly looked towards Lin Hong before waving his hand, Lin Qiang. Haha, brother Lin Feng, don't worry. Upon hearing the blue-clothed youngster's words, a conspicuously tall and sturdy youngster beside him also grinned as he took 2 steps forward to directly stand before Lin Hong. The former clasped his fists together as a vigorous Yuan power undulation quietly surged out. Kid, in 10 rounds, I will make you kneel. Lin Qiang took a look at Lin Hong as he curled his lip and declared. Bang! Lin Hong was expressionless and did not reply, while the Yuan power in his body likewise exploded out. Quickly, his figure bent as he straightaway took 1 step forward, a punch slamming towards Lin Qiang. Heavenly Yuan middle stage? Not bad. When he sensed the Yuan power undulations which had burst out from Lin Hong's body, Lin Qiang was a little surprised. Evidently, he had not expected that in this tiny branch family, there would actually be a younger generation who had reached the Heavenly Yuan middle stage at such an age. However, to defeat me, it's still not enough. Surprise was in the end just surprise. Lin Qiang did not hesitate in the slightest as his huge hand directly reached out and caught Lin Hong's fist. The corners of his mouth formed a disdainful grin as strong Yuan power undulations transformed into energy which jolted back Lin Hong's fist and caused him to retreat several steps. Haha! Having obtained dominance in one move, Lin Qiang let out a hearty laughter as he once again advanced forward. Vigorous Yuan power undulated on his fists as they flew, causing faint sounds of tearing through the air to sound out. One could tell that the fist technique this guy utilized was not a low-level martial art. As they gazed at Lin Hong, who was quickly at a disadvantage, the expressions of the younger generation Lin family members on the training grounds slightly changed. Evidently, they did not expect that any random one of the four would be able to push Lin Hong this far. Bang bang bang! 2 figures clashed fiercely together as strong Yuan power undulations spread out from their collisions, causing the dirt on the ground to fly up in the air. Kid, you've lost. In the middle of this intense exchange, Lin Qiang suddenly chuckled. His arm suddenly became extremely slippery, and with a chi sound, it bizarrely penetrated Lin Hong's defense and solidly engraved itself on his chest. Bang! A strong force transmitted from his chest as Lin Hong's expression turned pale. Yet, a fierce glint flitted across his eyes as his left hand returned to forcibly locked Lin Qiang's arm in place while his right fist abruptly punched out, and unceremoniously slammed onto the other party's chest. When the forces dispersed, the two figures unsteadily took a few steps back. However, everyone could tell that Lin Hong had come off worse from that exchange. "Lin Qiang, you can't even deal with one of the kids from the branch family." When they saw that Lin Qiang had actually been pushed back by a punch, the other two companions could not help but laugh. Disgraceful! Upon hearing their mocking voices, Lin Qiang's expression darkened a little. He stared at Lin Hong and decided not to stop as the sole of his foot pushed off the ground. Like a wolf pouncing at its prey, he once again dashed forward. When he saw that Lin Qiang was actually attacking again, Lin Hong's expression turned a little gloomy. Just as he was about to step forward, a palm landed on his shoulder. "Don't fight anymore." Lin Hong turned his head to gaze at Lin Dong, who was standing behind. After hesitating for a moment, he did not speak to oppose the latter as he nodded his head and withdrew 2 steps back. "Planning to leave? It won't be so easy." Upon seeing that Lin Hong had given up, Lin Qiang was furious instead of delighted. He had suffered a little previously and now wanted to regain his pride. How could he so easily let Lin Hong withdraw? Thus, his speed did not slow. Instead, the yuan power undulation from his body grew increasingly stronger as a formidable fist charged towards Lin Dong. "Kid, get lost!" As they heard Lin Qiang's shout, some of the Lin family younger generation members were initially stunned. Soon after, joyous expressions at his misfortune was revealed on their faces. Lin Dong indifferently gazed at Lin Qiang, who did not intend to back down. His sleeve lightly waved as a vigorous mental energy exploded out. Bang! In midair, Lin Qiang's pouncing figure suddenly froze. In the next moment, as if he had encountered the blow of an invisible huge sledgehammer, he was directly blown backwards before finally heavily landing on the ground. Horror almost instantly filled his face. Mental energy. Lin Feng and the other two were also stunned by this scene. Lin Feng's eyes flashed as his expression turned slightly serious. "Brother Lin Dong, nice." Upon seeing that Lin Dong had beaten that arrogant Lin Qiang with a mere wave of his sleeve, the Lin family younger generation members immediately burst out in cheers. "No matter where you are from, this place belongs to the Lin family. As the host, we naturally know how to treat our guests, but, as guests, please also respect the rules. If you are too overbearing, don't blame my Lin family from falling out with you." Such big words. When they heard Lin Dong's tone, the quartet's expressions turned somewhat ugly. As members of the main clan, they had always thought themselves superior as they looked down upon the branch clans. Now that they had received such treatment, how could they still keep their expressions from turning ugly? "Humph, I recall that in the previous clan gathering, there was a trash who was crippled in the first match, and this trash came from your branch family." One of the youths, who had a slightly shrewd expression, harshly sneered. Just as this person's words were spoken, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. His gaze turned towards Lin Dong, only to find that the latter's expression had turned exceptionally icy. "Careful!" While Lin Dong's expression turned icy, Lin Feng's expression also suddenly changed. He had sensed that the former had already transformed into a blurred figure and was dashing forward at an extremely violent speed. "Pa!" However, just as he shouted out, that figure had already appeared before shrewd-faced youth. A hand raised as a clear slapping sound suddenly rang out in the training grounds. Pu-chi! Lin Dong's slap was not the slightest bit merciful. Immediately, the youth spit out a mouthful of blood, and mixed in the blood were 2 shattered teeth. His body was like a spinning top as it spun a few rounds in midair before heavily landing on the ground. "Kid, you dare to attack!" As they stared at the youth who had directly fainted after a single slap from Lin Dong, Lin Feng's expression instantly darkened as he sternly said, "Catch that fellow, to think that a branch family member dares to be so bold." Upon hearing Lin Feng's shout, vicious glints surfaced in the other two's eyes. However, before they could make a move, they felt a cold light arrive at their bodies. When they regained their wits, two sharp mysterious ice swords had unknowingly placed themselves at their throats. Lin Dong ignored the two as he turned his head and looked at Lin Feng. The former stepped forward as a powerful and dreadful mental energy pressure pushed down on Lin Feng like a mountain. Bang! When he felt the might of that frightening mental energy, Lin Feng's expression finally turned to one of horror. Just as he planned to use his Yuan power to resist, the huge force gushed towards him. His knees weakened, with a loud bang, he fell to his knees on the training grounds. "A mere initial Yuan Dan stage dares to be so impudent before me, who do you think you are?" While Lin Feng's legs had been forced to kneel on the ground, Lin Dong's ice-cold voice, which seemed to cut directly into the bone, slowly sounded out. Chapter 157, Lin Chen. Such powerful mental energy. Lin Feng's expression was colored with shock. He had utilized all the Yuan power in his body, but the mental energy that pushed down on his body was still like a mountain. He was unable to move at all and even breathing felt extremely difficult. How is this possible? How can a kid from a branch family be this strong? A shocked expression on his face, Lin Feng's heart was filled with disbelief. Although he was not considered the cream of the crop among the younger generation in the Lin clan, he was still no mediocre member. Yet, the reality before his eyes told him that the youngster in front of him, who looked even younger than himself, was several times stronger than him. To one side, Lin Qiang his buddy gazed at Lin Feng, who was practically kneeling before Lin Dong, as waves churned in their hearts. However, the sharp swords that hovered at their necks caused them to not dare to make even the slightest movement. Lin Dong coldly looked at Lin Feng, who was tenaciously resisting the mental energy pressure. Suddenly, the former lightly stepped forward. Bang! As Lin Dong's foot stepped forward, the mental energy pressure on Lin Feng's body once again intensified. Instantly, the latter's complexion turned deathly pale and his entire body was forcefully pushed flat onto the ground. He now looked to be in an extremely difficult situation. Shameless bastard! With the soil on the ground smeared on his face, Lin Feng almost instantly turned purple. Within his danshan, vigorous Yuan power frantically bubbled out, and in that same moment, the mental energy pressure which was pressing down on his body suddenly dissipated. This kind of feeling where his energy now had no outlet to be released caused Lin Feng to feel a little depressed, until he wanted to vomit blood. Cough. Now that the mental energy pressure was gone, Lin Feng started to cough violently. Lin Dong indifferently glanced at the former. With a wave of his hand, the mysterious ice swords on the other two's necks also returned. "You seem to have many objections to me teaching martial arts." Lin Dong turned his head and looked towards Lin Qiang and the rest as his icy voice sounded out. Gulp. Under Lin Dong's gaze, the hair on Lin Qiang and his body stood at ends. They looked at Lin Dong, terrified, as they hastily shook their heads. Even Lin Feng, who had reached the initial Yuan Dan stage, had been completely suppressed by Lin Dong without any chance to retaliate. If Lin Dong wanted to deal with them, he perhaps would not need to lift even a finger to force them to their knees and be unable to move. My God, how did such a monster appear in the branch family? With his strength, perhaps only big brother Lin Chen would be able to handle him. The two exchanged a look, both could see the astonishment in each other's eyes. If you have nothing else, please leave. Lin Dong casually said, while looking at Lin Feng, as he crawled up from the ground while wearing an extremely ugly expression. Lin Dong then walked back to the training area, as his voice sounded out, "Continue training." Yes. After hearing Lin Dong's words, all of the Lin family younger generation members gave a lively and concerted shout in reply. As they looked towards the former, their gazes became increasingly feverish. In their hearts, the Lin clan had always been an especially formidable existence, yet, today, Lin Dong had used reality to tell them that this so-called main clan was not impossible to beat. Brother Lin Feng. Upon seeing that Lin Dong had turned and left, Lin Qiang and his buddy finally dared to come over and help Lin Feng. All of them now wore pained looks on their faces. Originally, they had wanted to go around and show off their might to these younger generation members of the branch clan, whom they did not have much knowledge of. Never did they imagine that, not only were they unable to show off, they had even lost quite a lot of face instead. Lin Feng's face alternated between green and white as he fiercely shook off Lin Qiang and the rest. He maliciously stared at Lin Dong's back before turning to leave. Go, let's look for big brother Lin Chen. Upon hearing Lin Feng's low voice, joy surfaced in Lin Qiang's and the rest's eyes as they hastily caught up. Lin Dong sat in the training grounds as he cast a glance to Lin Feng's and his party's leaving figures. His eyebrows once again slightly knitted together. He truly did not have any good feelings towards these Lin clan members. Although they shared the same family name of Lin, the blood ties between them was likely already so weak that it was practically negligible. This time, the Lin clan has come because of the old tomb. I wonder how many elite practitioners have been dispatched. Lin Dong thought to himself, it seems like the lure of the old tomb was indeed not small, even a faction at the level of the Lin clan had been drawn here. However, this would mean that his chances to obtain something good from the tomb were also now a little smaller. Somewhat helplessly sighing, Lin Dong shook his head and temporarily pushed aside such thoughts. This time, he needed to make a trip to the old tomb to put an end to the pain Qing Tan had been suffering from due to the her qi devouring her body. As for other extremely precious treasures, which were enough to trigger huge battles, he would have to depend on his luck. In any case, with Lin Dong's power plus the little Martin's aid, as long as they did not encounter a creation stage practitioner, they should be able to deal with anything else that came their way. Lin Dong withdrew his thoughts as he continued to give guidance to the martial arts practicing crowd. After about half an hour, a beautiful figure suddenly ran over while gasping for breath. Sister Lin Xia, what's wrong? As he gazed at the beautiful figure which had ran over, Lin Dong chuckled as he asked. Grandpa wants you to go to the hall. Lin Xia held her stomach as she panted before suddenly speaking again, did you take care of those guys from the Lin clan? Why? Did they complain? Lin Dong casually replied. There were no complaints but they seemed to have called for some reinforcements. Lin Xia covered her mouth as she softly laughed. Soon after, her expression turned a little sterner as she said, this time, I don't know why, but quite a few people from the Lin clan have come. Most of them are of the younger generation. With your strength, you have no need to worry about Lin Feng and the rest. However, there are two people you should be careful of. Oh! The two are one male and one female. I heard my father say that even among the main clan of the Lin family, these two are considered elites. The male is called Lin Chen, while the girl is known as Lin Ker. Lin Xia solemnly said. Oh! Lin Dong slightly smiled as he nodded his head, before he stood up and walked towards the guest hall while Lin Xia quickly followed. When they saw the two of them leave, the younger generation members in the training grounds also stopped their training. Their intuition told them that the following events would perhaps be rather exciting. Immediately, they turned to look at each other before stopping their training and quietly following. When Lin Dong reached the guest hall, he was just in time to hear laughs from within. Soon after, he stepped through the door as his gaze swept across the interior of the guest hall. Within the guest hall, there were quite a few people. Besides Lin Zhentian, Lin Xiao and the rest, Lin Feng and his gang, who had been sorely driven out previously, were also here. When they saw Lin Dong enter, a sneer seemed to flit across their eyes. Lin Dong's gaze merely swept over Lin Feng and his gang before pausing at the two who were seated in front of them. The two consisted of one male and one female. The male looked about 24 or 5 years of age, he had a tall and well-built figure, while his appearance was also rather handsome. Dressed in splendid clothes, he truly looked like no ordinary individual. The girl wore white female clothings and her elegant looks were quite moving. The most amazing thing about her was that there seemed to be two pupils within each of her eyes. At the fringe of her pupils, blue light seemed to flow, making it look extremely enchanting. Among the younger generation in this place, only these two were able to cause Lin Dong's heart to shiver a little. While Lin Dong was observing the two, both of them likewise cast their gazes towards him. The male slightly raised his eyebrows, on the corners of his mouth hung a mysterious smile. Meanwhile, a little surprise flashed across the white-clothed girl's beautiful eyes. These two should be the ones Sister Lin Xia had mentioned, Lin Chen and Lin Ker. This thought flashed across Lin Dong's mind as he walked into the guest hall and bowed respectfully towards Lin Zhentian, who was seated on the head seat. He, Dong Er, this is the leader of the Lin clan party this time. You should greet him as old Mr. Tao. Upon seeing Lin Dong enter, Lin Zhentian indicated towards an elderly man in grey beside him as he chuckled and said, "This young one greets old Mr. Tao." Lin Dong looked at the elderly man in grey as his expression slightly shivered. This old Mr. Tao's strength was likely already at the perfect Yuan Dan stage. The Lin clan's power was indeed not to be underestimated, even a mere group leader possessed this level of strength. He is indeed a talent. Looks like your wish will finally be fulfilled in the clan gathering 2 years later. Old Mr. Tao chuckled as he looked at Lin Dong. Old Tao, the clan does not acknowledge one based on his looks. Upon hearing old Mr. Tao's words, the man seated beside the girl in white could not help but softly chuckle as he spoke. After hearing this, old Mr. Tao also seemed a little embarrassed. He helplessly glared at the man before turning his gaze towards Lin Zhentian. "Old friend, for our trip to the old tomb this time, you want me to bring Lin Dong?" "Yes, Lin Dong is an excellent seedling, experiencing trials would be good for him. This time, I hope that you will take extra care of him," Lin Zhentian earnestly said. Old Mr. Tao muttered to himself for a moment before finally nodding his head, "Since you've asked, I might as well. I will do my best to ensure his safety." "Many thanks, old friend." Upon seeing him nod in agreement, Lin Zhentian was delighted, but he was completely oblivious of Lin Dong's depressed gaze. "Wait!" Just as Lin Zhentian expressed his thanks, a voice suddenly rang out at this inopportune moment. Old Mr. Tao's eyebrows lightly furrowed as he looked towards the man who had spoken and said in a helpless tone, "Lin Chen, what is it now?" "Old Tao, our trip to the old tomb this time is fairly important. If we so casually let anyone join and he becomes a burden, how would we be able to explain this to the elders when we return?" Lin Chen smiled as he spoke. You do not need to worry about this. Given Lin Dong's strength, he will not become a burden." Lin Zhentian hurriedly smiled as he said. "Oh, old Mr. Lin Zhentian, for this matter, words are useless. If he wants to take advantage by following us, he should show that he has a little skill." Lin Chen raised his chin at Lin Dong, all smiles as he said, "Don't you agree?" At this point, everyone else also understood that this Lin Chen clearly desired to provoke Lin Dong. Behind Lin Chen, sneers were revealed on Lin Feng and his party of 4, while Lin Zhentian's the rest's expressions turned slightly ugly. "You!" Lin Xia was not used to this guy's domineering attitude. Immediately, her long, shapely eyebrows erected, while anger was revealed on the younger generation Lin family members, who had already surrounded the guest hall. "What do you want?" As the implicated party, Lin Dong appeared rather calm. "Have a friendly bout with me, if you can last 10 rounds with me, I will give you the qualifications." Lin Chen stood up as he coldly said. Lin Dong turned and walked out of the guest hall. "If I beat you, don't mention this topic ever again." Chapter 158, Perfect Control. Interesting. As he gazed at Lin Dong's back, the smile on Lin Chen's face grew even wider. Previously, he had seen Lin Feng's and his party's sorry figures, though he did not care much for these 4 troublemakers, they were after all still from the Lin clan. If he allowed them to be bullied by a branch family in such a way, and word got out, it would likely damage the Lin clan's reputation. And it was also because of this that Lin Chen deliberately made things difficult for Lin Dong, with the intention of arousing Lin Dong's anger. Only then could Lin Chen have a bout with the latter and take the opportunity to help salvage a little of Lin Feng's and the rest's pride. However, he had never expected that this youngster, who did not look older than 20, would actually reply in such an arrogant manner. Lin Chen! Don't go too far! When old Mr. Tao saw this scene, his eyebrows furrowed as he sternly shouted. Old Tao, it will be fine. It's just a friendly bout, I will make sure to go easy on him. Lin Chen indifferently laughed before lifting his leg and walking outside the guest hall. As the rest saw this, they looked at each other and then also hastily rushed out. Sigh, old friend, this guy's temperament was always like this, please do not blame him. Old Mr. Tao smiled painfully as he sighed. Upon hearing this, Lin Zhentian magnanimously laughed. In his eyes was a look that the elderly man in grey did not understand. It was as if he was not worried of losing any face in this match. Hee, it's just a bout between younger generation members, we should also go take a look. Take it as a little fun. Lin Zhentian, Lin Xiao and the rest exchanged a look as they knowingly laughed, before walking out of the guest hall. After the hardships over the past 2 years, their confidence in Lin Dong was already fairly large. Lin Dong did not fear even an elite practitioner like Yu Shan, though this Lin Chen was strong, he could not possibly possess the capability to defeat Lin Dong in 10 rounds. Outside the guest hall was an empty field, however, this field was currently rather packed. Many of the Lin family members had also gathered after hearing of the fight. From a certain point of view, the Lin clan was considered as a place that some Lin family members yearned for. It was an outstandingly renowned and enormous faction in the Great Yan Empire. As a member, wherever one went in the Great Yan Empire, no one would dare to offend him, this was one of the benefits of fame and power. Thus, many Lin family members unknowingly held a little fear in the hearts of the Lin clan. From their perspective, the people there were all tigers and dragons. However, over the past 1 or 2 years, Lin Dong's various achievements had allowed them to understand that even if they were branch family members, they could still surpass those main clan members who received excellent treatment and resources since birth. And this match would thoroughly prove that. Lin Dong hands hung at his side as he gazed at Lin Chen, who was strolling out from the guest hall. Lin Dong's expression was calm and he chose to ignore the 4 sneering people behind Lin Chen. Lin Chen's footsteps slowly came to halt somewhere near to Lin Dong. Under the rays of the sun, the former's palms seemed to reflect a jade-like luster. This match will be an ordinary bout. Do not injure your opponent, or else you will be severely punished. Old Mr. Tao's gaze swept over the 2 parties before he sternly declared. Don't worry. Lin Chen lazily replied, he did not intend to take Lin Dong's life. The former only wanted the latter to understand that the branch family could never hope to challenge the main clan. Are you ready? Lin Chen chuckled as he looked towards Lin Dong. Lin Dong still did not speak, with a thought, 3 mysterious ice swords and the ever-flame sword flew out from his Qian bag. They circled around his body, and as the sharp blades streaked through the air, a faint wind sound could be heard. As expected, a symbol master, at this sight, Lin Chen's eyebrow raised, while, to one corner, an interested look surfaced in Lin Ker's azure eyes. Swish! Lin Dong's finger lightly flicked and the 4 swords transformed into shadows as they violently swept forward. Wrapped by vigorous mental energy, their might was enough to pierce through stone. Upon seeing Lin Dong make his move, Lin Chen also laughed as an exceptionally vigorous Yuan power instantly burst out from his body. Yuan power bubbled forth, causing Lin Chen's particularly pale hands to suddenly become crystal-like. Portions of formidable pure Yuan Gang energy swiftly gathered in his palms, and then, he took a single step forward, as his hands danced, leaving after images in the air as they heavily slammed against the blades. Clang clang! Sword and fist collided, as a clear metallic clang sound rang out. Sparks flew as the 4 blades were directly blown back. Advanced Yuan Dan stage. After this initial exchange, Lin Dong's eyes flashed. He had thoroughly grasped Lin Chen's strength, however, the latter was clearly stronger than Wei Tong, so much so that he was probably already half a foot in the perfect Yuan Dan stage. As expected of one from the main clan. Towards Lin Chen's strength, Lin Dong could not help but be a little amazed. Based on this person's pace, he would perhaps be able to completely advance to the perfect Yuan Dan stage in 1 or 2 years. This kind of speed was already pretty good. The fact that he was able to be considered as one of the elite members of the Lin clan younger generation, meant that he was indeed somewhat capable. Haha, try my jade destruction hand. After blowing away the 4 blades, Lin Chen let out a hearty laugh. A faint jade-like stream seemed to flow on his long palms as portions of pure Yuan Gang energy gathered on his palms. Quickly, he dashed towards Lin Dong, as the formidable power on his palms seemed to emit a low sonic boom. Such power! When they saw the might of Lin Chen's palm attack, many of the crowd's expression somewhat changed. From what they saw, this so-called jade destruction hand seemed to be at least a level 4 martial arts. The incoming wind from the attack seemed to cause Lin Dong's clothes to whimper. As he gazed at Lin Chen, who had already appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye, Lin Dong did not utilize any mental energy in response. Instead, the sole of his foot lightly stamped on the ground as strong Yuan power abruptly exploded out from his body. Initial Yuan Dan stage. When he sensed the strength of Lin Dong's Yuan power, the corners of Lin Chen's mouth slightly curled upwards. Yuan power rushed forth as Lin Dong's hands swiftly formed a series of strange seals. While the seals changed, the space within his palms abruptly turned bright. Wonder Gate Seal, 4th layer. Lin Dong's Yuan power was already at the peak of the initial Yuan Dan stage, he only lacked that single step to reach the advanced Yuan Dan stage. Meanwhile, the power of the 4th layer of Wonder Gate Seal could be comparable to level 5 martial arts. Now, the might of its full-powered utilization was not to be looked down upon. Hand seals swiftly changed as the Yuan power undulations in between Lin Dong's hands turned increasingly terrifying. A seal of light, the size of a head, took shape at the center of the light, as ripples of Yuan power, which could be seen with the naked eye, swiftly spread outwards. When he sensed that Yuan power undulations, old Mr. Tao's expression turned a little serious. Astonishment filled his heart. Evidently, he did not expect that Lin Dong had actually mastered such a formidable martial arts. Excellent! Upon realizing that Lin Dong actually still had this martial art, Lin Chen's eyes shined as the jade luster on his hands grew increasingly intense. Jade Shattering Claw. Lin Chen's palm style changed and transformed into claws. An extremely formidable force pulsed on the claws, as the jade luster instantly transformed into solid jade, while emitting a chillingly white glow. The two parties' attacks were both formidably terrifying, causing the onlookers' hearts to tremble. The light seal shot out from the space between Lin Dong's palms as it streaked across the air, leaving a bright trail of light. Several breaths later, it heavily shot towards Lin Chen under numerous nervous gazes. You overestimate yourself. Upon seeing that Lin Dong actually wanted to confront him directly with martial arts and Yuan power, Lin Chen could not help but sneer in his heart. The claw suddenly erected for a moment before the jade-like claw ruthlessly tore apart the seal of light. Bang! Formidable pure Yuan Gang energy frantically erupted and the soil on the ground was directly blown away. It seemed to dance as it filled the air, as a deep and harsh gash flashed into existence. Everyone held their breaths as they gazed at the spot where the light seal and jade claw had collided. Shatter! Waves of powerful Yuan power undulations frantically spread outwards as a formidable glint suddenly flashed across Lin Chen's eyes. Without reservation, all the Yuan power in his danshan gushed out, as the jade glow on the claws drastically intensified. Chi! The jade glow rushed forth, and to the astonishment of the crowd, they watched as the extremely powerful light seal was directly torn apart. Excellent! At this sight, Lin Feng and the rest were delighted as they involuntarily cheered out, while a trace of worry surfaced in Lin Xia's and the other Lin family younger generation members' eyes. You've lost! Forcefully tearing apart the light seal, a smile also appeared on Lin Chen's face. That may not be so. As Lin Dong glanced at Lin Chen, he let out an indifferent laugh. After hearing Lin Dong's laughter, Lin Chen was initially stunned before his pupils suddenly shrunk. He watched as the light seal he had forcefully torn apart suddenly exploded. A seemingly material mental energy helix, the size of a palm, strangely appeared from the explosion, before it zipped forward at an astonishing speed. This abrupt turn of events finally caused shock to color Lin Chen's eyes. His claws danced as they hastily grabbed at the mental energy helix that was shooting towards him. Bang bang! The spiraling mental energy cone heavily slammed onto Lin Chen's claws, causing the jade glow on his hands to be scattered inch by inch as the terrifying and huge force directly jolted Lin Chen backwards, while he raggedly retreated. Swish! The spiraling mental energy cone transformed into a glowing shadow as it violently shot towards Lin Chen's forehead. In response, the latter also frantically retreated. However, no matter how he utilized Yuan power to obstruct it, his defenses crumbled at a startling speed under the attack of the spiraling mental energy cone. Only now did Lin Chen finally understand that Lin Dong's true killing blow was not the seal of light, but the mental energy cone hidden within it. Such terrifying control! This thought flashed across Lin Chen's mind. He understood very clearly the harsh requirements needed to conceal a mental energy attack within Yuan power. Bang! The violently retreating figure suddenly stopped as Lin Chen's back heavily slammed into a stone pillar. In his eyes, the spiraling mental energy cone rapidly grew larger. I concede. Deeply inhaling a mouthful of air, Lin Chen hastily shouted out. Bang! As Lin Chen's shout left his mouth, the swiftly approaching mental energy cone suddenly came to a standstill. With a bang, it burst apart and slowly faded away into nothingness. Chapter 159, Advanced Yuan Dan Stage. As they stared at Lin Chen's body, which was still as it plastered itself to the rock pillar, the crowd turned silent. Meanwhile, the smile on Lin Feng's and the rest's faces instantly froze. Lin Chen's defeat had practically happened in a flash. At first, he seemed to have the upper hand, however, in the next moment, all of his advantages seemed to have crumbled due to the sudden appearance of that revolving mental energy cone. This final result caused even that elderly man to be stunned. It was a long while before he finally regained his senses. After all, he was keenly aware of Lin Chen's strength. Even though that fellow was arrogant, he was indeed quite skilled. Yet, the situation now. A young talent has emerged. Congratulations, old friend. Old Mr. Tao sighed deeply, before he cupped his hands and congratulated Lin Zhentian. Based on the strength that Lin Dong has displayed, in 2 years, he would probably excel at the Lin clan gathering. At that time, Lin Zhentian's wish of returning to the Lin clan would finally be fulfilled. Lin Zhentian smiled as he waved his hand. Though he humbly replied, the pride and admiration in his eyes were unconcealable. Good job, brother Lin Dong. The Lin family younger generation members who were crowding around, began to shout out at this moment. Lin Dong had used his abilities to prove that these so-called Lin clan members could be defeated as well. Impressive mental energy control. Lin Ker's beautiful azure eyes swept across Lin Dong's body, as an intrigued smile surfaced on her lips. She could tell that Lin Dong was truly formidable, especially in his control over mental energy. For his previous attack, perhaps others were unable to see, but she was able to discover that when Lin Dong was condensing the glowing seal, he was also secretly forming his mental energy attack. His ability to fuse and control Yuan power and mental energy resulted in this unexpected and strange ending. Furthermore, at the last moment, he was able to casually dissipate the mental energy cone. This indicated that Lin Dong was highly proficient in controlling his mental energy. I never expected that there was actually such a talent in this branch family. It's no wonder Lin Chen lost, Lin Ker muttered to herself. Under the gazes of the crowd, Lin Chen's face turned slightly ugly. However, he was not such a sore loser. Immediately, he clenched his hand before he somewhat disgruntledly said to Lin Dong, "No wonder you were so unbridled. It's because you are indeed skilled. This time, I admit my loss." Lin Dong's face was calm, as he was not too overjoyed after defeating Lin Chen. Even though the latter was almost at the perfect Yuan Dan stage, at this level, he posed little threat to Lin Dong. After he withdrew his gaze from Lin Chen, Lin Dong suddenly turned to look at that lady in white, who was standing to the rear. When the latter saw him, she also smiled back sweetly. This woman is not simple. Lin Dong stared at Lin Ker, as this thought suddenly flashed across his mind. He had no idea where this thought came from, however, for no particular reason, in his heart, he felt that this woman was probably stronger than Lin Chen. You must always embarrass yourself before you stop. Old Mr. Tao, who was standing on the stone steps, looked helplessly at Lin Chen, as he said. Do you believe that he will not drag us down now? Lin Chen was a little resentful. If he still insists that the person who beat him would drag them down, then wouldn't he be even more of a burden? Haha, old friend. So this matter is decided. Lin Dong is not weak. Perhaps we may require his assistance on this trip. Old Mr. Tao turned his head, before he smiled at Lin Shentian and said. Upon hearing these words, Lin Shentian smiled as he nodded his head. Turning his head, he said to Lin Dong, Dong Er, this trip to the old tomb is a rare opportunity. In 3 days, you shall follow old Mr. Tao to Skyflame mountain range. Along the way, remember to follow old Mr. Tao's instructions. When he heard these words, Lin Dong could not help but roll his eyes. However, as he looked at Lin Zhenshan's sincere expression, he could only nod his head. Secretly, inside his heart, he planned to look for an opportunity to sneak away. After all, based on his current strength and with assistance from Small Martin, even though he dare not guarantee that he would obtain precious treasures, he would at least have a decent chance. However, if he traveled with these Lin clan member, he may not receive any benefits at all. Lin Shentian naturally did not know that Lin Dong was currently secretly planning leave the team. Hence, when he saw the latter nod his head, he smiled in satisfaction. Then, he invited them back into the guest hall. After some chatting, when the sky turned dark, he instructed someone to bring them to the guest quarters. Lin Dong had left long before they dispersed. First, he went to check on Qing Tan, and when he realized that the latter had fallen asleep, he returned to his own small courtyard. Inside a room that was gently lit by soft candlelight, Lin Dong was seated on his bed with his eyes tightly shut. Streams of Yuan power formed from the air around him, before they endlessly poured into his body. This training continued on for roughly 2 hours, before Lin Dong gradually opened his eyes, and furrowed his eyebrows. Right now, he was able to sense that he had reached the pinnacle of the initial Yuan Dan stage. Therefore, all he needed was one final push to successfully break through. This trip to the old tomb was naturally not going to be a peaceful one. However, based on his current strength, plus the aid from Small Martin, he should be able to handle most troubles that came his way. Nonetheless, this old tomb managed to attract several elite practitioners. Therefore, if he could become stronger, it would definitely increase his odds of survival. Hence, before this trip, he would do everything he could to increase his strength. As he thought of this point, a determined glint flashed across Lin Dong's eyes. He flipped his hand and removed a jade box from within his Qian bag. As he opened the box, a potent medicinal smell began to spread inside the room. Resting inside the jade box was a vermilion round fruit. This was the grade 6 elixir that Lin Dong had obtained just days before, the blood vermilion devil fruit. As he stared at this blood vermilion devil fruit, Lin Dong deeply inhaled that potent fragrance, as a satisfied look emerged on his face. Compared to a grade 5 elixir, this grade 6 elixir was several times more powerful. Lin Dong extended his palm forth, as it hovered above the blood vermilion devil fruit. Immediately, the stone talisman embedded within Lin Dong's palm began to vibrate slightly, as streams of unique light beams emerged from his hand, before they completely surrounded that blood vermilion devil fruit. Buzz buzz. As it was surrounded by that stone talisman light beams, the blood vermilion devil fruit slowly began to float. Meanwhile, signs of withering also began to appear on its surface. The rate at which the fruit withered was extremely slow and totally different from when he had refined grade 5 or 4 elixirs before. However, Lin Dong was fairly patient as well, as he slowly waited for that blood vermilion devil fruit to wither. As he waited, 3 hours passed by. 3 hours later, that blood vermilion devil fruit was thoroughly sucked dry. Soon after, its skin began to turn into dust as it rapidly fell off. When all the dust disappeared, 3 exceptional dark elixir pills slowly appeared in front of Lin Dong's eyes. Extending his hand, he very carefully picked up these 3 dark elixir pills. When they touched his hand, Lin Dong could instantly feel the frightening medicinal power contained within. Immediately, delight surfaced in his eyes. The medicinal power contained within was several times that of a grade 5 elixir, as expected of a grade 6 elixir. After he praised out in his heart, Lin Dong did not immediately swallow this grade 6 elixir pill. Instead, he chose to recuperate for half an hour, before he finally opened his eyes again. Then, without further ado, 1 grade 6 elixir pill clenched between his fingers was jammed into his mouth. Thud! When that grade 6 elixir pill entered his mouth, it almost instantly turned into a massive flood, as it gushed forth towards Lin Dong's limbs at an astonishing rate. In fact, even a layer of Yuan power mist began to emerge on the surface of Lin Dong's body, and completely wrapped around his body. Taking in a deep breath, Lin Dong hastily began to activate the Tri-Sun art, plus, the secret spirit skill the small Martin had taught him in order to increase his absorption rate. Right now, as he utilized this skill, a mental energy vortex formed above his dantian as it frantically absorbed that pure medicinal energy that was coursing through his body, before depositing them into his dantian. Thanks to this massive inflow, that thumb-sized Yuan Dan, with a trace of dark gold, inside his dantian began to spin rapidly. Its small body had seemingly become a bottomless pit. No matter how much Yuan power was poured in, it did not exhibit any signs of stopping. Of course, due to this massive inflow, the size of his Yuan Dan began to slowly grow as it swirled. Meanwhile, the Yuan power that undulated from within also began to grow stronger. This infusion lasted for the whole night, before all the pure medicinal power coursing through Lin Dong's body was gradually absorbed. When that last bit of pure energy was transformed into Yuan power and deposited inside his dantian, having worked for an entire night, the inside of Lin Dong's body suddenly became extremely quiet. Buzz buzz. However, this silence only lasted for a split second. Immediately, that now peach-sized Yuan Dan inside his dantian began to buzz. As it buzzed, the trace of dark golden color on the surface of his Yuan Dan suddenly began to expand rapidly. In less than half a minute, that trace of dark golden color had directly covered half of his Yuan Dan. Boom! As his Yuan Dan was being dyed in gold, an extremely formidable Yuan power, just like a volcano, erupted forth. Right now, a dark golden luster could be seen within his Yuan power. A dark golden Yuan power was flowing within his dantian, like a golden river that was filled with mystery. When that dark golden Yuan power burst forth, Lin Dong's eyes, which were shut for the whole night, suddenly opened, as a dazzling dark golden beam shot out. Meanwhile, an extremely formidable aura slowly began to spread outwards from his body. Advanced Yuan Dan Stage. Chapter 160, Skyflame Mountain Range. As he felt the surging Yuan power coursing through his channels, an immense delight surfaced on Lin Dong's face. He could clearly feel that, the amount of Yuan power contained within the Yuan Dan inside his dantian, and its vigorousness, was several times that of initial Yuan Dan stage. The advanced Yuan Dan stage is indeed impressive. Lin Dong gently sighed. Only after he had personally experienced the enriching feeling brought about by the Yuan power inside of him, did he understood how powerful this cultivation stage was. Based on his predictions, the current him had an over 60% chance of beating Lin Chen, even without the use of mental energy. Even though he had only just advanced to advanced Yuan Dan stage, Lin Dong's Yuan Dan was an 8-star Yuan Dan. Therefore, the purity of his Yuan power was several times that of an ordinary practitioner. Based on that fact alone, it was possible for him to defeat Lin Chen, who was half a step away from the perfect Yuan Dan stage. Based on my current strength, even if I encounter a perfect Yuan Dan stage practitioner, I need not be fearful. While Lin Dong had yet to reach the advanced Yuan Dan stage, he could still use his abilities as a third seal symbol master and a small Yuan Dan stage practitioner to battle with Yu Shan. Now that his Yuan power had progressed, his combat abilities naturally surged again. In the future, even if he met a perfect Yuan Dan stage practitioner like Yu Shan, Lin Dong was confident that they would not have any advantage over him. As he deeply exhaled a puff of white qi, Lin Dong's fist slowly tightened. Now, all his preparations were completed and he could only wait to embark on his journey. This time, I want to find out what is so special about this old tomb that has attracted so many elite practitioners. Ever since he successfully advanced to the advanced Yuan Dan stage, in the remaining days, Lin Dong did not go outside. This was because the frequency of Qing Tan's cold qi outbreaks had become increasing rapidly. Therefore, the majority of his time was spent beside this poor girl that was being tormented by yin energy. In the following days, Lin Chen and the rest from Lin clan also stayed at the Lin family's estate. However, after they were put in their place by Lin Dong, they no longer dared to put on airs in front of the Lin family younger generation members. Thus, time passed swiftly and in peace. When the morning rays of the third day shone on the land, after a night of silence, Yan City's atmosphere once again heated up. Over these past few days, news of the old tomb had spread at a terrifying pace. In fact, this even caused every city near the Skyflame mountain range to become increasingly heated. Numerous people hurried towards this city to prepare themselves, before they headed towards the Skyflame mountain range in packs. A Nirvana practitioner's tomb held an extreme allure towards anyone. Everyone knew that even if you were an invalid, if you were lucky enough to stumble upon the Nirvana heart, then, you would also possess the ability to advance to the creation stage. Therefore, for many people, this was an item that could alter their destiny. As long as one could advance to the creation stage, regardless of who you were, you would become hailed as an elite practitioner. After all, a creation stage practitioner had never appeared even in the ranks of the powerful Blood Wolf Gang or the Thousand Gold Association. This goes to show how difficult it was to advance to the creation stage. While Yan City became increasingly bustling, at the front courtyard of Lin family, old Mr. Tao, Lin Chen and the other Lin clan members had long since finished their preparations and were waiting. Therefore, once Lin Dong arrived, they were all geared up and ready to go. Haha, since we have all arrived, let's go. Old Mr. Tao looked at Lin Dong, before pausing at Little Flame beside him, as astonishment surfaced in the former's eyes. Evidently, old Mr. Tao did not expect that Lin Dong actually owned such a ferocious pet. Dong Yar, be careful. Lin Xiao said in concern as he patted Lin Dong's shoulders. Don't worry, father. Lin Dong smiled, then, under the envious gazes of Lin Chen and the rest, he hopped onto Little Flame as he turned and said, Old Mr. Tao, let's go. After getting to know each other over these 2 days, Lin Dong already knew that this old Mr. Tao's name was Wu Tao and he was a sinecure of the Lin clan. We'll be taking our leave. When he heard Lin Dong's voice, old Mr. Tao smiled. Clasping his hands at Lin Zhentian and the rest, he kicked his horse as he led the way forward. Behind him, Lin Chen, Lin Ker and the rest swiftly followed. Lin Dong bid Lin Zhentian and the rest goodbye. Without further ado, he gently patted the tiger's back. Little Flame released a deep growl, before it transformed into a fiery red shadow and dashed forward. As they stared at Lin Dong's and the party's departing figures, Lin Zhentian and the rest looked at each other as they smiled. They were keenly aware that based on Lin Dong's potential, even this Yan city could not tie him down. Therefore, only by interacting more with other elite practitioners from outside, could Lin Dong grow and achieve his full potential. Skyflame mountain range was situated at the border area between Yan City and 2 other cities. This mountain range was extremely wide and it nearly traversed across half of Tiandu province. In fact, it would not be an exaggeration to call it Tiandu province's #1 mountain range. Skyflame mountain range was extremely wide and broad. Contained within were numerous vicious demonic beasts. In fact, it was said that if one ventured too deeply within, a single moment of carelessness would cause even an elite creation stage practitioner to be in deep trouble. Therefore, usually, other than some professional demonic beast hunters, there was hardly anyone who ventured into Skyflame mountain range. Of course, this saying was immediately dismissed after news of the old tomb spread. Under the allure of a nirvana practitioner's tomb, this so-called danger was immediately forgotten as greed overwhelmed their minds. Hence, the originally peaceful Skyflame mountain range transformed into a tourist hotspot in just half a month. Inside the mountains, one could easily spot another person from time to time. As a terrifying amount of people flowed in, who knew how many of them ended up as fertilizers for these woods. However, everyone knew that if one wanted to cross Skyflame mountain range and successfully reach the old tomb, one must have a few tricks up his sleeve. Else, even if one could evade the demonic beasts, perhaps at the next moment, he would be killed by a hidden trap. Overall, the journey across Skyflame mountain range was packed with danger, and losing one's life due to a tiny misstep was extremely common. The journey from Yan City to Skyflame mountain range took approximately 1 day. Therefore, when Lin Dong and the rest reached the outskirts of Skyflame mountain range, the sky was already turning dark. Faintly, one could see some campfires inside the woods. Today, let's set up camp here on the outskirts. Tomorrow, we shall proceed into the Skyflame mountain range. Old Mr. Tao looked at the skies, before he waved his hand, indicating for the party to slow down as he instructed. With regards to his instructions, no one had a second opinion, and Lin Chen and the rest quickly acknowledged. Then, guards, which had came along, began to set up a campsite in an exceedingly efficient manner. Soon after, a simple campsite emerged on this empty space. Old Mr. Tao, news of this old tomb has spread for quite some time. Will it be too late for us to go now? As they were resting, Lin Dong smiled as he asked. Upon arriving at this Skyflame mountain range, he finally realized how many people had been attracted by that old tomb. Based on these numbers, if they were to all rush into that old tomb, there would probably be nothing left, right? Haha, don't worry. That Nirvana stage practitioner had set up an energy seal outside the old tomb. Even though much time has passed since then, and the seal has weakened, some lucky fellows may be able to sneak in. However, they are unable to venture deep into the tomb. After all, most ordinary people don't have the power to break the seal. Old Mr. Tao smiled as he said. Even a perfect Yuan Dan practitioner. Lin Dong's eyebrows lightly furrowed. Evidently, he did not expect that it would be so troublesome to enter that old tomb. Nope. It would take at least one who has advanced to the creation stage. Old Mr. Tao shook his head, before he promptly smiled and said, Do you really think that the Lin clan has sent only us to investigate this old tomb? Strictly speaking, we are merely here to scout the place. The real elite practitioners will arrive soon. As for the seal, we will have to rely on them to break it. Elite practitioners that have advanced to the creation stage. When he heard these words, Lin Dong's facial expression slightly changed. Even though he had already anticipated that this old tomb would definitely attract some truly powerful individuals, when he heard it personally, his heart could not help but tighten. It's no wonder I doubted their abilities before, it seems like they are only here to as the vanguard. Lin Dong let out a bitter laugh in his heart. The Lin clan was indeed a massive and legendary faction in the Great Yan Empire. Just for this old tomb, they actually sent out such powerful practitioners. Oh, by the way, for this contest over the old tomb, who did the elders send as the leader? While Lin Dong was bitterly laughing, Lin Feng suddenly asked out of curiosity. Haha, who else could it be? It's not like you guys can't guess who it is. Upon hearing these words, old Mr. Tao chuckled as he said. Could it be? After seeing this, Lin Chen and the rest, and even Lin Ker were taken aback, as a delight surfaced in their eyes. Is it big brother Lin Langtian? Lin Langtian. Standing aside, Lin Dong's footsteps abruptly stopped. The fist in his sleeves instantly clenched tightly, as his eyes began to flicker frantically. Meanwhile, his heart also began to beat violently. This name, ever since 6 years ago, he had never forgotten it. Countless times, when he could no longer endure the pain of training, he would silently murmur this name, and then, forcefully suppress the pain and exhaustion in his body. And in several days, he would finally be able to personally meet this person, the one whose name he had mumbled for 6 years, the person he had hated for 6 years. Lin Langtian. Chapter 161, Song Dao. The next day, when morning arrived, Skyflame mountain range became extremely noisy. Several groups packed up their tents, before they successively proceeded deeper into the mountains. Most them seemed to be in a hurry. Based on their appearances, it seemed like they are deadly afraid that if they were a second too late, all the treasures in that old tomb would be snatched away. In Lin Dong's eyes, they seemed a little silly. Let's go. Old Man Tao waved his hand as he instructed the guards to keep the tents. Then, without further ado, he straight away proceeded towards the inner part of the mountain. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and the rest swiftly followed behind. When they entered the forests inside the mountains, the sky seemed to have darkened quite a bit, as a faintly oppressive atmosphere enshrouded the crowd's hearts. When they faintly heard the roars of demonic beasts from a distance away, the smiles on their faces dampened a little. Everyone knew that in such place, it was not rare for one tiny misstep to easily cost one's life. There were many groups of people venturing into the mountains. Lin Dong and his party saw dozens of groups heading in the same direction as them. The size of these groups were varied, and they were fairly cautious of one another. Therefore, when they entered the mountains, they all moved their separate ways. Lin Dong and his party took no notice of the other group's actions. Old Man Tao and the rest was obviously well prepared, as he possessed an extremely detailed map of Skyflame mountain range. Thus, there was no need for them to do any meaningless exploring, as they traversed through the shortest route and quickly advanced towards the deeper parts of the mountains. As they quickly advanced, the rowdy atmosphere behind them gradually faded away. At the same time, Old Man Tao's facial expression became increasingly concentrated and vigilant. Skyflame mountain range was filled with demonic beasts, some of which were exceedingly formidable. In fact, over this period of time, who knows how many had already lost their lives in these mountains. Lin Dong sat on Little Flame's back, his face remained calm and collected. However, threads of mental energy constantly permeated the area, as he carefully monitored his surroundings. There is a group ahead of us. There are quite a number of them and there is a blood stench coming from them. However, it's not from demonic beasts. As they cautiously made their way forward, an experienced middle-aged guard suddenly stopped as he softly reported. Continue on. Old Man Tao lightly nodded his head and was not surprised. Everyone here had come for the old tomb. Besides their own crew, everyone else was a competitor. Therefore, it was not uncommon for fights to occur within these mountains. When he saw that Old Man Tao had no intention to take a detour, the guards also nodded their heads. However, their grips on their blades slowly tightened. Lin Dong's eyes slightly narrowed as he stared at the forested area to the front. Nearby, he could sense several auras, in fact, he even detected a pretty powerful aura there. Based on that aura, it was probably a perfect Yuan Dan stage existence. When he noticed how powerful that aura was, Lin Dong could only secretly sigh in his heart. The appeal of this old tomb was truly tremendous. Shortly after venturing into Skyflame mountain range, they had already encountered a faction that would not lose out to the Blood Wolf gang. While Lin Dong secretly sighed, his group has already passed through the thicket. Soon after, a dozen figures appeared on the empty space before them. When Lin Dong's group appeared, the dozens of people resting on the ground immediately picked up the weapons by their sides, as they turned in to stare at the new arrivals with malicious gazes. Instantly, the atmosphere became extremely tense. Lin Dong's eyes swept across the crowd, before it stopped at a man in the center. The man's body was extremely well built, with a tiger's back and bear's waist. He was bare-armed and hideous scars spread across his entire arm, causing him to look extremely menacing. Based on his appearance, he seemed like a character whose sword constantly tasted blood. Perfect Yuan Dan stage. Lin Dong's eyes swept across this man, as his eyes slightly narrowed. It seems like this man was probably the head of this group. His strength was indeed not weak. Furthermore, based on their well-coordinated actions, it was clear that they belonged to the same faction. However, which city they hailed from was a mystery. There are even 2 advanced Yuan Dan stage practitioners. Lin Dong's gaze swept across that man, before it paused for a moment at the 2 figures beside him, as he could not help but feel a little surprised in his heart. This group was a cut above the Blood Wolf gang. Move. Old Man Tao's gaze calmly swept across this group of people. Without any further words, he waved his hands and led his group forward. When they saw Lin Dong and the rest directly walk towards them, a menacing glint flashed across this group's eyes. Meanwhile, the grips on their weapons, which still had traces of blood on them, became increasingly tighter. The 2 squads gradually approached each other, until both parties were merely meters apart, as the atmosphere seemed to freeze. Under Old Man Tao's lead, his group brushed past the other party. However, just as they thought that they had successfully passed by, a hand suddenly stretched out and pressed at Lin Ker's white horse. "Heh, such a beautiful lass. Why don't you come down and play?" When she heard these offensive remarks, Lin Ker's beautiful face instantly turned ice cold. Without the slightest bit of hesitation, she waved her lily-white hand, as a cold shadow immediately exploded from her sleeves. Ding! The cold shadow shot out, but the owner of that palm was also evidently prepared. His blade swept in an arc and managed to ward off that cold shadow. However, the massive force from the cold shadow still managed to jolt him 2 steps back. In the same instance when Lin Ker was stopped, over at Lin Dong's side, a long blade cut the air in front of him. The practitioner who had reached the advanced Yuan Dan stage tilted his head, as he gave Lin Dong an especially bright smile and said, "Kid, why don't you give me your mount?" Before he could finish his words, an exceedingly formidable sword shadow rapidly enlarged in his pupils, causing him to hurriedly retreat as he withdrew his blade. Clang! The sword shadow heavily struck the back of that blade, as the resulting force caused the latter's arms to turn numb. Hastily retreating, he nearly fell to the ground. Kyung kyung! This exchange had instantly broken the atmosphere. Both parties immediately drew their weapons, as UN power undulations began to gush forth on this vacant space. Lin Dong was calm as he took a look at that man that had been raggedly jolted back. Right now, the latter was staring at him maliciously with an intense murderous look. Lin Dong glanced at this person. He could see that these guys were all a little reckless, evidently, they were seasoned criminals. This kind of person were unreasonable and wild. Regardless of your status, as long as they were stronger than you, they would dare to do anything. As his eyes swept across this group of people, Lin Dong's gaze suddenly stopped at the figure in the middle. Immediately, his eyes slightly focused. Old Man Tao's expression suddenly darkened when these guys made their move. He abruptly took one step forward, as his perfect Yuan Dan stage aura completely gushed forth. The powerful aura dampened the aggressiveness of these fellows. Even though they were reckless individuals, they also needed to take into account how tough an opponent they were facing. Halt! As Old Man Tao displayed his strength, the man whose arms were covered in scars, finally opened his mouth. As he waved his palm, all the ferocious-looking fellows slowly put down the weapons in their hands. However, they continued to stare at Lin Dong and his party maliciously. "Ha, I am known as Song Dao. This has been a misunderstanding. My brothers do not really understand the rules. If we have offended you, please forgive us." The bare-armed man smiled as he cupped his hands and apologized to Old Man Tao. Old Man Tao nonchalantly glanced at him. Based on his deductive abilities, he naturally knew that these fellows only wanted to find out his strength. If he had not reached the perfect Yuan Dan stage, it was likely that this group would probably attack them for real. "Leave." Old man Tao did not intend to chat with Song Dao. Even though the Lin clan was extremely well known, to these criminals whose lives were constantly on the line, it did not have much effect. Therefore, he indifferently commanded as he led Lin Feng and the rest forward. Lin Ker sat on her horse, as her beautiful azure eyes turned to glance at these fellows, a chilly light flickering in her eyes. However, she did not take any further action, as she steered her horse and swiftly caught up. As Lin Dong his party slowly disappeared into the forest, the tense atmosphere slowly dissipated. "Boss, we are letting them go? That wench was truly something, I really want to see if she will still be so cold and haughty after I strip her naked." As he gazed at Lin Dong and the rest while they disappeared into the woods, the man who had previously stopped Lin Ker licked his lips as a weird laughter rang out. That kid's ride was pretty suave. It seemed to be a fire python tiger. If we could capture it, we could definitely trade it for a great deal of Yang Yuan stones. The other man also somewhat disgruntledly remarked. They are strong and won't be easy to deal with. Song Dao coldly chuckled as he said, besides, we still have some business to attend to. If you want a beauty, Chief Manager Su from the 1000 Gold Association is even better. Chief Manager Su from the 1000 Gold Association. When they heard these words, a lustful gaze emerged in several of their eyes. Tell them. Song Dao tilted his head, as he stared at a figure hidden among his crew. On that figure's clothes, was the symbol of a blood-red wolf head. Boss Song Dao, the 1000 Gold Association has also come to this Skyflame mountain range. Xia Wanjin and Lu Suansu are among them. Right now, our Blood Wolf gang is tailing them. Once Boss Song Dao brings his troops over, we will be able to decimate the 1000 Gold Association. Heh, our sect leader has also said that after we take care of the 1000 Gold Association, the compensation will surely please you. The figure smiled as he respectfully said. The 1000 Gold Association, they are quite powerful as well. This is not the first time your sect leader has dealings with me. Hence, he should know the price. If he is unable to pay it, don't blame me if things turn ugly between us. Song Dao thought about it for a moment, before he coldly said. Boss Song Dao, don't worry. Upon hearing these words, that person was instantly delighted. Let's go and join up with the Blood Wolf gang. We shall accept this deal. Song Dao chuckled, before he waved his hand and said. When they heard his words, the rest were immediately delighted. A fierce look revealed itself on their faces, it looked as if they were itching for a massacre. AI. While Song Dao's faction was preparing to make move out, within the forest nearby, a figure rested against a tree trunk as he softly sighed. It is the Blood Wolf gang after all, Lin Dong kneaded his forehand. Previously, he noticed that one of the fellows had a Blood Wolf gang emblem on his clothes. However, he never expected that he would hear such a shocking piece of news after eavesdropping. 1000 Gold Association, Big Sister Su. As he lightly spread out his hands, Lin Dong cocked his head as he glanced at those guys to his rear. Their gazes were cold as their figures quietly floated into the forest. Seems like I'll have to step in after all. As the human figure disappeared, that soft fleeting noise quietly faded. Chapter 162, Soul Treasure. When Lin Dong's figure appeared forest to their rear, before steadily landing on Little Flame's back, Old Man Tao and the rest merely looked at him once, and did not inquire about what he was doing there. After Lin Dong defeated Lin Chen, he had clearly displayed his strength. Therefore, even Lin Chen and the rest did not dare to provoke him. Old Man Tao, those guys are too much. How can we just leave like this? When Lin Dong rejoined the team, Lin Chen was evidently still upset over the clash with these guys, as he opened his mouth and said. As members of Lin clan, they usually took on the role of the bully. Therefore, if it was not for the fact that Old Man Tao had insisted on leaving, they would have probably started a fight just now. Those fellows are pretty skilled. If we fought, perhaps we might win. However, we will likely have to pay a hefty price. Old Man Tao shook his head and said, right now, our top priority is to rush to the old tomb. Once the other elite practitioners from the clan arrive, we can deal with them anytime. The tone of Old Man Tao's words contained a hint of anger as well. Evidently, he was also upset with the group from before. At that time, we will not so easily let them off. Lin Chen gritted his teeth as he declared. Lin Ker, who was standing to one side, blinked her beautiful eyes as a chill flowed in the depths of her pupils. Then, she suddenly turned her head, looked towards Lin Dong and smiled. Those guys will receive their just desserts, right? Upon hearing these words, Lin Dong was taken aback. He declined to comment as he replied, perhaps. Lin Ker smiled knowingly and she did not ask any further. The rest of the journey was not lonely. Even though they had gradually advanced deep into the Skyflame mountain range, Lin Dong and the rest still met other groups that were also venturing forth. Most of these groups were not weak. However, though most of them were similarly wary of other groups, they were thankfully not as reckless as the first group of guys. Thus, since Lin Dong's group also looked pretty formidable, they had a relatively peaceful trip. Besides these other teams, Lin Dong's group hardly met any of the most ferocious local demonic beasts in Skyflame mountain range. It seems like Old Man Tao had really prepared thoroughly, as he had brought some unique medicinal powders along, which were able to repel some ordinary demonic beasts. As for the stronger beasts, from a distance away, Lin Ker was able to spot them and allow the group to avoid them by taking a detour. Therefore, their trip was surprisingly smooth. On the few rare occasions where they met with demonic beasts, they were not much of a hindrance. As they hurried along, Lin Dong discovered that Lin Ker was actually a symbol master too. Though he did not see her utilize any mental energy attacks, based on his senses, this woman's strength was certainly not weak at all. One day's worth of time was mostly passed hurrying along the road. Until nightfall began to enshroud this massive Skyflame mountain range, did Lin Dong and his party decided to rest and stop. After all, nighttime was when demonic beasts roamed free and hence, it was unwise for them to continue on. After they set up camp, Lin Dong, Old Man Tao and the rest discussed some matters briefly, before they all returned to their respective tents and started cultivating. Gentle moonlight poured down from the horizon, as it cast a layer of silver silk on this mountain range. From time to time, low growls of demonic beasts sounded out. In the quiet campsite, a tent gently shook. A man and a beast turned into two shadows, as they stealthily dashed forth. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared into the woods. When they entered the woods, Lin Dong looked once at that empty campsite behind him, as he softly heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he patted Little Flame's head while the latter was also sensible enough not to growl. "Let's go," Lin Dong softly said. As he prepared to take off, his eyes suddenly concentrated as he abruptly turned around, only to see that standing on a tree branch behind him, was an elegant lady dressed in white smiling down at him. Lin Ker. As he stared at the lady dressed in white, Lin Dong's eyebrows furrowed slightly. "You plan to look for those guys from today?" Lin Ker floated down before she softly chuckled, "Count me in as well, okay?" Lin Dong was taken aback, before he said, "Why would you want to involve yourself in this?" Song Dao and the rest were evidently no ordinary group. Furthermore, their murderous intent was something that was unmatched even by the Blood Wolf gang. Hence, if this matter did not concern the Thousand Gold Association and Xiansu, Lin Dong was truly hesitant to interfere as well. Thus, he never expected that this Lin Ker actually wanted to go on her own initiative. "Don't you know, women are the most vengeful creatures?" In response to Lin Dong's question, Lin Ker answered in a baffled fashion, as she tilted her head and lightly smiled at Lin Dong. "Is this because of that one sentence from that fellow?" The corners of Lin Dong's lips twitched. Did all the women from these great clans have such a personality? Well, up to you. Even though he did not know if this was the correct answer, Lin Dong did not bother to continue inquiring. After he casually answered, he immediately jumped onto Little Flame's back, before they transformed into a red shadow and dashed, lighting quick into the woods. Swish! When Lin Dong moved, the sound of something cold breaking through the air was suddenly heard from behind him. As he turned to look, he saw Lin K'er stepping on a unique longsword, that seemed to have been made from numerous ice shavings condensed together. The longsword faintly glowed in the darkness of the night, while Lin Dong sensed a palpitating sensation from this unique longsword. What kind of sword is this? How can it be so powerful? Lin Dong's heart was fairly shocked. He could tell that Lin K'er's shattered ice sword was no ordinary item. In comparison, his mysterious ice swords and Everflame sword were practically garbage. That is soul treasure. Ai, kid, you are really too ignorant. It's no wonder, since you were being constructed in such a small place, what could you possibly know? While Lin Dong was shocked, the small Martin's voice suddenly echoed out in his mind. Soul treasure? What is that? After hearing these words, Lin Dong was stunned as he asked. Simply put, an item that possesses its own soul is called a soul treasure. This type of item can only be crafted by a soul symbol master. Therefore, in your great Yan Empire, this soul treasure is considered as an extremely rare item. The small Martin casually answered. It takes a soul symbol master to forge it. Shock flitted across Lin Dong's eyes. This meant that even Grandmaster Yan did not possess the power to craft this so-called soul treasure. It was wonder he had not even heard about these soul treasures in Yan City. As expected of someone from the great clans, Lin Dong a little enviously looked at the shattered ice sword hovering below Lin K'er's foot. This was the major advantage of belonging to a great clan. Even these treasures that they have never heard of, could be casually brought along. In the darkness of the night, the manner in which the latter floated forth, seemed as graceful as a fairy. You should know their location, right? Lin K'er chuckled as she said. Yes, after clashing with them today, I left a mental energy mark on their knives. Lin Dong nodded his head. Then, watching as Lin K'er lifted her eyebrows, he could not help but ask in a strange manner, you left one too? I've said it before, women are vengeful creatures. Lin K'er sweetly smiled as she said. Lin Dong rolled his eyes. It seems like this woman had already planned to make a move on these guys. In contrast to her demure and beautiful looks, no one could tell that her methods were actually this vicious. As he withdrew his gaze from the shattered ice sword, Lin Dong's palm patted the tiger's back, and Little Flame's speed increased violently. Just like a fiery red shadow, in a few leaps, they disappeared deep within the woods. Right behind them, Lin K'er was still leisurely following. Based on her appearance, it seemed like it did not require much mental energy for her to manipulate the mystical shattered ice sword. 2 humans and 1 beast swiftly traversed across the woods. Approximately 10 minutes later, their speed slowly began to decrease. Both of their mental energy was fairly strong, and hence they were keenly aware of their surroundings. In fact, almost simultaneously, they both discovered that there were some UN power undulations and faint sounds of battle a distance ahead of them. Have they already started? When he heard these sounds of battle, Lin Dong's pupils shrunk slightly. Currently, in the middle of this small mountain valley, bonfires burned, as hundreds of figures were in the midst of a chaotic clash. Sounds of battle and blades clashing rang out, as a thick bloody smell spread forth. In the darkness of the night, it was exceedingly pungent. Song Dao, my 1,000 Gold Association has no grudges with your Blade Slaughter Gang, why must you ally with the Blood Wolf Gang and make things difficult for us? Xia Wanjin's expression was dark. As he used a palm to jolt back a Blood Wolf Gang member who recklessly charged at him, his eyes turned to look at an imposing man, who was fighting in the middle of the battlefield. This man was Song Dao, whom Lin Dong had encountered during the day. Since I have accepted their money, I am obliged to rid them of their troubles. Surely Chairman Xia must understand this principle. When he heard Xia Wanjin's words, Song Dao could not help but chuckled as he turned his hand and his blade flashed forth, carrying 2 streams of blood. He licked the blood stain on his face, smiling as he replied. Whatever the Blood Wolf Gang is paying you, my 1,000 Gold Association will double it. Xia Wanjin deeply echoed. Haha, Xia Wanjin. The reward that I am offering sect leader Song Dao is that after we exterminate your 1,000 gold association, we will give half of the resources to the Blade Slaughter Gang. Can you afford this price? When he heard Xia Wanjin's words, Yu Shan could not help but laugh manically. If you plan to devour my 1,000 gold association, I'll kill you. Xia Wanjin's face was ice cold as he icily replied. You don't have to worry about that. Kill them all. Yu Shan sinisterly smiled, as he waved his hand. Promptly, several elites from the Blood Wolf Gang dashed forth like tigers and wolves, red in their eyes, as they madly attacked the 1,000 Gold Association's troops. As the Blood Wolf Gang and the Blade Slaughter Gang went all out, the pressure faced by the 1,000 Gold Association instantly multiplied. As time went by, numerous individuals from both factions were killed, as their numbers drastically fell. Sun Su, protect Xylan and escape. I will cover you. When he saw the tragic losses suffered by his 1,000 Gold Association, Xia Wanjin's eyes reddened as he growled. Behind him, Sun Su's beautiful face changed slightly, as a desperate expression filled her eyes. Based on the current situation, their 1,000 Gold Association was definitely at a major disadvantage. Since their opponent had two perfect Yuan Dan stage practitioners, based on this fact alone, it was already enough to completely destroy them. Therefore, if they did not leave now, they would definitely face certain death. Leave. If you guys are captured by them, you will suffer a fate worse than death. When he saw Sun Su hesitate, Xia Wanjin once again shouted out angrily. Sun Su bit into her rosy lips, as she abruptly nodded her head. As she turned to grab onto Xia's Hylan, she fought to escape the crowd. You want to leave? Haha, Manager Su, my Blade Slaughter Gang's brothers have long admired your beauty. How can we let such a beautiful lady leave? When he saw that Sun Su was planning to retreat, Song Dao, who was waiting for an opportunity, suddenly laughed out heartily. He waved his huge hand, brothers from the Blade Slaughter Gang, capture her. Haha. When he heard Song Dao's laughter, the Blade Slaughter Gang members' eyes reddened immediately. They released a beast-like growl from their mouths, and in a flash, they charged towards the Sun Su and Hylan like a tidal wave. As they stared at that massive incoming force, Sun Su's beautiful face changed. Promptly, her palm hit on Xia's Hylan's back, as she delivered a soft force to push her away. Hylan, run! Bastard! When he saw this sight, Xia Wanjin was furious. His perfect Yuan Dan stage aura violently gushed forth. However, just he planned to make a move, Yu Shan's figure swept forward and firmly blocked the former. Haha, Xia Wanjin, today is the day your 1,000 Gold Association will be thoroughly exterminated. When Yu Shan intervened to obstruct Xia Wanjin, Song Dao also laughed out. In a flash, he appeared somewhere to the front of Sun Su and the rest. He stared at that woman's figure, which only seemed to grow even more alluring amidst the reflection of the lustful fire in his eyes. When she saw that Song Dao had personally stepped in, Sun Su's pretty face was cold as ice. Meanwhile, a trace of despair surfaced in her heart. Manager Su, there is nothing to miss about the 1,000 Gold Association. Why don't you join my Blade Slaughter Gang? I, Song Dao, will personally welcome you. Song Dao stared at Xian Su, as he smiled and said. Xian Su's beautiful face was ice cold. As she clenched her lily-white hand, a long sword appeared within. When he saw this, Song Dao felt somewhat helpless. Spreading out his hands, he instructed, capture her, but remember, do not hurt his beauty. Yes. When they heard Song Dao's instructions, the troops from Blade Slaughter Gang immediately laughed in a lewd manner before they answered. Then, they somewhat orderly spread out and surrounded Sun Su and the rest. Attack! When one man roared out, the troops from Blade Butcher sect almost simultaneously rushed in. At the same time, UN power undulations exploded forth. Kill! When she saw this sight, Sun Su bit her teeth, as she coldly shouted out. At this juncture, besides a fight to the death, there was no other option left. Growl! However, Just as Suansu was prepared to fight to the death with the Blade Slaughter Gang, a low beast growl suddenly rang out from within the forest. Promptly, a fiery red shadow dashed into the scene. A red tail whizzed through the air, like a steel whip, as it directly decimated several Blade Slaughter Gang members nearby. This sudden development caused the Blade Slaughter Gang members to panic, while a formidable cold glint burst out of Song Dao's eyes. He stared at that giant fire python tiger that had appeared. As his eyes turned to look at that figure seated on the tiger's back. It's you, Lin Dong. Suansu was similarly shocked by the arrival of this reinforcements. As she turned to look at that young man seated on the tiger's back, a look of joy immediately exploded forth in her beautiful eyes. However, this delight immediately dissipated when she realized that Lin Dong was alone. Instead, her heart turned even more ice-cold and anxious. After all, based on the current situation, with just Lin Dong alone, he was surely courting death. After all, Song Dao was a perfect Yuan Dan stage practitioner that could match up against Yu Shan. Chapter 163, Manifestation Symbol Array, 3rd Layer. Kid, I was kind enough to spare you. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Song Dao's eyes were cold as he glared at Lin Dong and slowly said. As he spoke, Song Dao's eyes began to systematically sweep across the surrounding woods. During the day, he had found out the extent of Lin Dong's and his party's abilities. If they choose to intervene at this juncture, it would be hard to say how the current situation would change. Haha, sect leader Song Dao, why must you be so merciless? Why not we end today's matter at this point? Lin Dong smiled as his palm gently stroked Little Flame's fiery red fur. Right now, Little Flame's mouth was wide open, and its massive body was slightly bent forward, ready to attack. A menacing aura slowly spread out from its body. Who do you think you are? How dare you obstruct my Blade Slaughter Gang? Besides Song Dao, that advanced Yuan Dan stage practitioner, who had stopped Lin Ker earlier that day, could not help but sneer as he said. Kid, if you leave now, I can pretend that this has not happened. Song Dao stared right at Lin Dong as he solemnly warned. Lin Dong, quickly leave with Thailand. Behind Lin Dong, Suansu hurriedly said. With the Blade Slaughter Gang and the Blood Wolf Gang working together, their combined prowess was truly formidable. Based on Lin Dong's current strength, how could he expect to stop them? Lin Dong gently shook his head. His eyes were similarly locked onto that menacing Song Dao. Even though the Blade Slaughter Gang was powerful, the only man that he feared was Song Dao. As long as he could defeat Song Dao, he would be able to successfully resolve today's issue. Since you refuse the easy way out. When he saw that Lin Dong still had no intention to retreat, a ferocious glint surfaced in Song Dao's eyes. Promptly, he waved his hand violently as he coldly shouted, "Kill him! Kill this son of a bitch!" Upon hearing these words, the troops from the Blade Slaughter Gang began to smile maliciously as Yuan power exploded forth from their bodies. In a flash, the sharp blades in their hands hacked towards Lin Dong with a cold light. As he faced these incoming troops from the Blade Slaughter Gang, Lin Dong did not bother with them. His eyes were solely focused on Song Dao. Just as these troops were several meters away from him, from within the forest, a violent wind sound suddenly erupted forth, as numerous twinkling cold lights burst forth. Plop plop! This sudden attack caused the Blade Slaughter Gang troops to panic, as the blades in their hands hastily danced. Meanwhile, Yuan power was urged out from their bodies to form defensive barriers. Nonetheless, these tiny cold lights directly melted through their sharp blades, before finally bursting out from the throats of a few unfortunate fellows. In that short instance, a dozen elite Blade Slaughter Gang members had died thanks to those glowing cold lights. When that dazzling cold lights emerged from their throats, it carried along a column of blood. Finally, as they gathered in mid-air, they transformed into a dazzling shattered ice sword. Immediately, an alluring white figure floated forth from within the woods and gently landed on that shattered ice sword. Her beautiful face was smiling as she stared at the ravaged Blade Slaughter Gang's troops below. As expected of a soul treasure. When he saw that the shattered ice sword had instantly taken the lives of a dozen elite practitioners, Lin Dong's heart slightly shuddered. That shattered ice sword was evidently able to transform into shattered ice pieces to attack at any time. Furthermore, it was exceedingly formidable. When facing these ice pieces, the steel blades in those fellows' hands were just like tofu. Even with Yuan power as a defensive barrier, they were unable to stop it. Based on Lin Dong's prediction, just this shattered ice sword alone was enough to allow Lin Ker's strength to increase by 30%. The power of a soul treasure was truly incredible. You dare kill my Blade Slaughter gang members? Good, very good. Song Dao stared daggers at Lin Ker, who stood atop her shattered ice sword, as he icily said. Blade Slaughter gang? I have never heard of it. Lin Ker lightly smiled, before she turned to Lin Dong and lifted her eyebrows, and said, Are you sure that you can handle him? If you want, you can have him. Lin Dong chuckled as he said. This kind of tiresome chore is best left to the men. Leave the rest to me and your big tiger. Lin Ker somewhat deviously said. She naturally knew that this Song Dao was a tricky opponent. Lin Dong, I will fight Song Dao together with you. When she heard that Lin Dong was planning to face off against Song Dao by himself, Sun Su's facial expression slightly changed. The latter was a true blue perfect Yuan Dan stage practitioner. Even though Lin Dong's mental energy was extremely formidable, it would be a disaster to clash against Song Dao directly. Big Sister Su, just let me handle it. Lin Dong shook his head. Based on Sun Su's current strength, she was evidently no match for Song Dao. If she intervened, she would instead distract Lin Dong as he tried to protect her. Are you sure? When she saw Lin Dong insist, Sun Su's eyebrows furrowed as she anxiously said. Lin Dong chuckled. Without answering, he slowly stepped forward. His path was directly headed towards Song Dao. Such an ignorant brat! When he saw Lin Dong approaching him, a malevolent glint surfaced in Song Dao's eyes. Sect leader Song Dao, that kid is with the 1,000 Gold Association. Kill him too. The commotion on this side naturally drew Yu Shan's attention, while he dueled intensely with Xia Wanjin. However, when the former realized that there were only two of them, a murderous intent surfaced in his heart as he shouted out. Song Dao lightly nodded his head, as his eyes fell on Lin Dong, since you are such a fool, don't blame me for being merciless. Boom! As Song Dao's threat fell, an exceedingly formidable Yuan power violently gushed out from within his body. A white Yuan power, just like a giant ball of white flames, surrounded his body, as a formidable pressure began to spread forth. Yuan power churning, Song Dao's foot stomped on the ground, as his figure immediately blurred. In a flash, he appeared in front of Lin Dong. His palm to chop towards Lin Dong, as a formidable pure Yuan Gang energy swiftly materialized. It directly tore through the air and viciously went for Lin Dong's throat. Pure Yuan finger. When Song Dao attacked, a dark golden Yuan power similarly gushed out from Lin Dong's body. Straightening two of his fingers, pure Yuan Gang energy swiftly gathered at his fingertips, before they actually formed into a solid cone and quickly thrust towards Song Dao's palm attack. Bang! As palm and finger collided, terrifying Yuan power abruptly rippled outwards. The dried leaves on the ground were directly turned to dust. Humph, merely advanced Yuan Dan stage, yet you dare to challenge me. You're courting death. Song Dao's expression was dark, as his powerful palm attack directly decimated the Yuan power at the tips of Lin Dong's fingers. Just as he planned to carry on his attack, Lin Dong retreated in an extremely cunning fashion. Meanwhile, as he retreated, both of his hands began to form a series of hand seals. As his hand seals changed, a dark golden Yuan power gushed forth from within his body just like a tidal wave, before they swiftly gathered at his palm. Wonder Gate Seal, 4th layer. Lin Dong was keenly aware of how powerful a perfect Yuan Dan practitioner was. In terms of Yuan power potency or endurance, Song Dao was stronger than him. Therefore, when he attacked, the martial arts that he used were not of low rank. When Lin Dong's final seal ended, a dark golden yuan power had already swiftly condensed into a dark golden glowing seal several feet large in between his palms. This time, the yuan power undulations hidden inside this dark golden glowing seal was several times stronger compared to his previous clash with Lin Chen. Furthermore, this was the first time Lin Dong had utilized his most powerful martial arts after reaching to the advanced Yuan Dan stage. Swish! After the dark golden glowing seal took shape, Lin Dong's arms jerked forward as the glowing seal directly flew forth. It left a dazzling dark golden light trail, as it viciously shot towards Song Dao. As that light seal pounced towards him with an exceedingly powerful force, Song Dao's pupils slightly shrunk. He never imagined that Lin Dong could actually utilize such a powerful martial art using his advanced Yuan Dan stage abilities. 5 Tiger Splitting Palm. Even though he was shocked, Song Dao was not the slightest bit merciful. White Yuan power frantically gathered on his right palm, as a knife shape faintly appeared. Furthermore, on that knife shape, there seemed to be the outline of a tiger. Kid, I shall take your life with this move. When that knife shape appeared, Song Dao's face turned even more malicious. He stepped forward, as his right palm furiously smashed down on that dark golden glowing seal. Boom! The blade shadow that was formed from powerful Yuan power heavily hacked down on the dark golden glowing seal. Immediately, an exceedingly formidable Yuan power shock wave frantically emerged, like a storm that swept away everything. In fact, even the ground was forcefully split apart, as countless cracks began to emerge. Break! A maniacal yet formidable knife gushed forth. Song Dao's face was cold as he ruthlessly swung his right palm, watching as that dark golden glowing seal was forcefully hacked apart by him. Nearby, when Suansu and the rest witnessed this scene, they immediately turned pale. Kid, you are finished. After gaining the upper hand with a single move, a cold expression surfaced on Song Dao's face. With a swish sound, he hacked at Lin Dong's throat like lightning. Buzz buzz! As he faced Song Dao's lethal attack, Lin Dong did not lose his calm. As his hand seal changed, numerous mental energy threads hidden within that ruptured glowing seal shot out. These threads crisscrossed and interacted with each other, as they quickly formed a mysterious symbol array in front of Lin Dong. Manifestation Symbol Array, Manifest, 1000 Flames. When the symbol array was complete, Lin Dong stared at Song Dao, who was merely inches away, as the corners of Lin Dong's lips curled up to form an ice-cold smile. The manifestation symbol array was split into 3 layers, Manifest Light, Manifest Azure Wave and finally the most powerful move Manifest 1000 Flames. In the past, Lin Dong did not have the ability to unleash the third move. However, now that he had reached the advanced Yuan Dan stage, he was finally able to display the full potential of this secret spirit skill. Chapter 164, Seizing by Force. The mysterious symbol array suddenly began to whirl rapidly after Lin Dong's command. As it spun, an exceedingly powerful mental energy undulation abruptly spread forth. Hwa hwa! As the symbol array vibrated, a powerful mental energy began to gather at its center. Furthermore, as mental energy frantically continued to accumulate, at the heart of that symbol array, a peculiar flame suddenly sprung forth. This flame seemed like an ordinary flame. However, strictly speaking, this was not actually fire, but something made from mental energy, after reaching a certain level of compression. This flame was merely the size of a thumb. However, the berserk mental energy vibrations emitted from it, caused even Lin Dong to be slightly shocked. He never expected that the full extent of the manifest symbol array was actually this formidable. This undulation was also detected by that incoming Song Dao. Immediately, shock flashed in his eyes. However, it was no longer possible for him to retreat. Hence, he could only hurriedly mobilize the Yuan power in his danshan into the glowing blade shadow in his hand, and attempt to use this to resist the attack. Swish! Lin Dong's eyes coldly stared at Song Dao, before his fingers suddenly jabbed forward. The seeming flame-like object inside symbol array suddenly trembled, with a swish sound, it exploded forth. Boom! As the flame swept forward, the surrounding air suddenly shook, as an invisible wave of air screeched forth, pressuring the surrounding air and generating low sonic booms. The aura of this attack was extremely terrifying. Song Dao was similarly shocked by Lin Dong's dreadful strike. It was now that he finally discovered that, what this young man was most proficient in, was not Yuan power, but rather mental energy attacks. At this critical juncture, there was already no way out. Song Dao was indeed the leader of these maniacal outlaws. Immediately, a dark expression surfaced in his eyes as the glowing blade in his hand suddenly brightened, before he desperately hacked downwards, furiously chopping down on that tiny flame. Bang! When that glowing blade chopped onto that tiny flame, a loud explosion immediately echoed out. However, that seeming formidable glowing blade was almost instantaneously decimated by that flame. Meanwhile, without a decrease in velocity, that flame continued to dash towards Song Dao, while emitting berserk undulations. When he saw the flame easily crushing his glowing blade, Song Dao's limbs instantly began to turn cold. As he turned to look at that young man behind him, he realized that at this moment, the latter was still calm as usual. There was no hint of any pride or arrogance that he was able to push a perfect Yuan Dan practitioner to death's doors. I have kicked an iron board. At this juncture, this thought flashed across Song Dao's mind. Nonetheless, this fearsome individual did not intend to give up, as his eyes flashed with a mix of madness and determination. While madness gushed in his eyes, Song Dao's opened his mouth, as a pigeon egg-sized white Yuan Dan suddenly flew out from his mouth. Boom! When his Yuan Dan appeared, it was as if a Yuan power tornado had formed on the spot. Even amidst the fearsome battle, several people were forcefully drawn to look. However, when these people saw that Song Dao had actually spat out his Yuan Dan, a look of shock surfaced on their faces. Especially the Blade Slaughter gang members, who were even more shocked. Everyone knew that the Yuan Dan was the most important object for one on the path of cultivation. This was the root of one's cultivation. Regardless of the severity of a surface wound, there was always the chance of recovery. However, if one's Yuan Dan was damaged, the possible after effect was that one will very likely become completely invalid. Therefore, unless it was truly a life and death situation, no Yuan Dan stage practitioner would ever rashly summon his Yuan Dan. Due to this reason, when they saw this sight unravel before of their eyes, huge waves immediately churned in their hearts. Especially Yu Shan, who felt like his skull was practically about to explode. He could not believe that just Lin Dong alone would be able to force Song Dao, whose strength was on par with his own, to such an extent. Boom! Under the disbelieving gazes of the crowd, the Yuan Dan which brought a Yuan power tornado instantly screamed. Quickly, it crashed with a loud bang against that tiny flame. At the moment of impact, all the fighting noises in this mountain valley seemed to have weakened. Space seemed to have turned silent. In the next moment, a volcano eruption-esque shockwave exploded forth. Bang! Lin Dong's figure was the first to be blown away by that terrifying shock wave. He heavily collided against a large tree with a muffled thud, clearly injured by this impact. When he landed on the ground, Lin Dong's eyes turned to look at the epicenter of the collision, only to see that there was a deep hole there several meters in length at that spot. A look of awe flashed across his eyes. Around the hole, several unlucky fellows were groaning. Based on their appearances, they were clearly affected by the aftershock. Bang! Lin Dong was prepared, thus, the injuries he suffered were not too severe. However, Song Dao was most unfortunate, as he was the closest one to the epicenter. Hence, when that shockwave hit his body, his face instantly turned pale as he immediately vomited out a mouthful of fresh blood. Meanwhile, his body flew backwards, like a kite whose strings had been cut, before he landed hideously on the floor and spat out multiple mouthfuls of blood. After enduring such punishment, Song Dao's body was evidently severely injured. However, at this moment, he chose to endure the intense pain, as his palm hurriedly waved, and a dimly glowing Yuan Dan shot out from the dust-filled air. After all, a practitioner could afford to lose a limb, yet, he must never lose his Yuan Dan. After that massive collision, even though it successfully managed to stop Lin Dong's deadly attack, the Yuan Dan had become much dimmer. Evidently, it had suffered some injuries as well. However, at this moment, Song Dao could not be bothered about this matter. First, preserving his life now, was the most critical. The Yuan Dan drew a faint line of light through the air as it flew quickly towards Song Dao. However, right before the Yuan Dan returned to Song Dao's mouth, an exceedingly blurry glowing shadow suddenly appeared mysteriously. As its claw-like figure reached out, it quickly grabbed the Yuan Dan that was about to fall into Song Dao's mouth. When his Yuan Dan was being grabbed, Song Dao's facial expression changed drastically, as he used every ounce of energy within him to help his Yuan Dan break free of that glowing shadow's grasp. Buzz buzz. However, the now heavily injured Song Dao was obviously unable to recall it instantly. Especially when a black hole-like object appeared on the claw, and his Yuan Dan was immediately swallowed. When his Yuan Dan was swallowed by that black hole, Song Dao's facial expression turned inhumanely miserable, as he violently vomited numerous mouthfuls of fresh blood. At this moment, he had completely lost contact with his Yuan Dan. With his Yuan Dan lost, an exceedingly feeble sensation burst out from his body. His originally vigorous and abundant energy quickly left his body. When he felt this sense of weakness, Song Dao knew that this time, he was finished. Leave. Leave now. Where is Song Ke? The fear of death grasped Song Dao's heart, as he grabbed at the few experts from the Blade Slaughter gang nearby, and coarsely shouted out. When they saw that the head of the Blade Slaughter gang had been reduced to such a state, his followers were appalled. Big brother Song Ke has been killed by that woman. When he heard Song Dao's inquiry, one of the Blade Slaughter gang members immediately scowled as he answered fearfully. What? When he heard these words, the originally feeble Song Dao almost blacked out. As he lifted his head, he saw an elegant lady dressed in white sweetly smiling in midair as she fired off a dozen cold lights. Every time these cold lights swept down, they would leave behind a pillar of blood. Growl. At another area, a fiery red beast was now manically hunting every expert from the Blade Slaughter gang. Every time that red shadow moved, another figure would be forcefully split apart. This was a completely one-sided massacre. After massacring who knows how many opponents, their Blade Slaughter gang had finally tasted this same sensation. Go! Using his final bit of energy, Song Dao fled for the woods. He knew that this time, not only was he finished, but his entire Blade Slaughter gang would be buried in this Skyfire mountain range. When they saw Song Dao flee, the rest of the Blade Slaughter gang members lost all courage to resist, as they swiftly scattered. As for the Blood Wolf gang, right now, they had their hands full. As he watched the Blade Slaughter gang flee, Lin Dong furrowed his eyebrows. Just as he planned to hunt them down, a blurry glowing shadow suddenly appeared and hopped onto his palm. No need to chase, that fellow is finished. When he heard the small Martin's voice, Lin Dong was stunned. Then, he suddenly realized that there was something else inside his hand. He tilted his head to look, and his pupils suddenly contracted when he realized that lying within his palm, was a pigeon egg-sized Yuan Dan. Song Dao's Yuan Dan. When he saw this familiar Yuan Dan, Lin Dong immediately gasped deeply, before quickly he kept it into his Qian Kun bag. With his Yuan Dan lost, Song Dao would probably not leave Skyfire mountain range alive. Not bad, you actually managed to defeat that fellow, an alluring figure flashed, as Lin Ker stood atop that shattered ice sword and slowly floated before Lin Dong. Contained within her beautiful azure eyes, was a hint of shock. She had never expected that Lin Dong was actually able to defeat Song Dao. Of course, the only one feeling shocked and astonished was not her alone. Suan Su, who was standing aside, had her lily-white hands over her mouth. The astonishment on her pretty face was completely unconcealable. Alone, Lin Dong had defeated a perfect Yuan Dan elite practitioner. Besides Suan Su, Xiao's Highland strangely stared at Lin Dong. She clearly remembered that barely half a year ago, Lin Dong was still being driven into a corner by Wei Tong. However, right now, he could actually defeat a perfect Yuan Dan practitioner. What kind of cultivation speed was this? Only now did Xia's Hailan completely understand why Xuansu and Xia Wanjin both valued Lin Dong so highly. It turned out that this fellow was simply a monster. With regards to their amazed glazes, Lin Dong chose to smile in response. He was clearly aware that if Small Martin had not employed a peculiar method to steal Song Dao's Yuan Dan, the latter would probably be able to retreat successful. As for his injuries, perhaps after a period of recuperation, he would be able to fully recover. However, now, that fellow was finished. Lin Dong's palm gently felt the Qian bag in his sleeves. Then, his eyes turned to look at the extremely ashen-faced Yu Shan, as he smiled and said, "Sect leader Yu Shan, do you still wish to kill me now?"